Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Huỳnh Như. I'm from Center for Foreign Languages, University of Information Technology. It is my great honor to be given this opportunity to present my research on the topic Teachers' Roles in the Online Teaching. Hopefully, my presentation will provide you with a deeper look into the teachers' roles in the online teaching, especially in the current context of the COVID-19 pandemic. There are four main parts in my presentation. The first part is introduction, in which I'm gonna review some studies on the teaching online. The second part regards methodology. I will clarify the research method, participants, instruments, and data analysis. In part 3, I will discuss the findings of the research. And in part number 4, based on the findings, I would like to draw some conclusion on the teacher's roles in the online teaching. I will start my presentation with the first part, introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a matter of fact that we cannot deny the teacher's roles either in online classes or in offline classes. According to Hattie 2009, teachers' teaching strategies and methods has the largest impact on student performance, particularly their interactive teaching method. While the academic community shows great importance to students' autonomous learning, Hattie's analysis showed that self-controlled learning by students themselves may not be an effective way to improve students' academic output. From this point, we can say teachers have great contribution to the students' learning process. Another point is that the technology advance has brought tremendous benefits for education in the crisis, especially since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Miller Yunus and his partner, the Internet has led to transformation from traditional classroom to online teaching. And according to Selwyn 2003, he stated that teaching and learning using technology makes the process more interactive and collaborative. It is even believed that in the future, with the assistance of artificial intelligence, the virtual teacher can replace most of the roles of offline teachers too. However, no studies so far have shown that virtual teacher can replace the roles of offline teacher. In our study, Joe and his partner found that teacher-student relationship is the most essential factor that affects student performance. That means technology is playing an increasing role. However, effective communication between teachers and students is still indispensable, and that is considered as a critical link for the students' learning process. In dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, most of schools, universities, or other educational organizations have been closed. All of the classes have to move online. So this transition has spawned a lot of barriers for teachers because this happened suddenly without being prior preparation. Such a large-scale online teaching practice gives us a good opportunity to explore the teacher's roles in the current trend of online teaching. Obviously, the teaching of English at UIT is not an exception when all the classes have been conducted online since the outbreak. So with this study, I try to explore the teacher's roles as online teaching is obligatory in the context of University of Information Technology. And how teachers can improve their online lesson is also examined. In other words, with the absence of offline classes, what roles should UIT English teachers play to better achieve the teaching goals, and in what ways they can improve their students' academic performance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to part 2, methodology. About the research design. This research utilized a questionnaire to explore the teacher's roles in the online teaching. The participants were 15 English teachers of all levels working at University of Information Technology. The instrument employed in this research were 12 open-ended questionnaires which were made online using Google Forms due to the social distance. The data was collected in 4 weeks for the teacher to respond to the questions, and this descriptive approach was used to describe the teacher's responses. Now let's jump to part 3. I would like to discuss the findings of the research. Firstly, I would like to mention the teacher's perception to the online teaching. Most of the teachers said that teaching online is time-consuming because they have to spend at least twice as much as usual to find out effective online tools and to design lesson plan or any activities for group work, pair work, or individual work. When the connection is not stable, it also takes time for teachers and students to reconnect to each other. Especially when conducting online lessons, teachers have to show and change different tools and websites at the same time, which causes the interruption in the lesson. Apart from time-consuming as thinking about the online teaching, all of teachers think that they have more things to do when they design the online lesson plan. Especially they have to design teaching tasks carefully to fit their allotted time, more online activities, games, quizzes for in-class communication. They need to have appropriate activities to occupy other students if they want to work with a specific individual. Another concern when the teacher teaches online is the mini-test for frequent assessments. Apart from the lesson in class, teachers also choose reliable materials for the students to understand more about the lesson after class. Another point is appealing slides, and the last one, problem prediction. As we know, when we conduct online lesson, we cannot predict anything occurring. So, the teachers have to predict some possible problems as conducting the activities and design backup activities to make sure the students get involved and keep up with the lesson focus. The second finding comes to the reality of students' learning of English. When asked about the students' learning of English at UIT, most of the teachers found that the most difficult skills that the students are facing are speaking and listening skills. Concerning communication involvement, the teachers agreed that UIT students have less communication in class, they lack interaction with the teachers and their classmates, or they are not willing to take part in communicative activities. They are so lazy to talk with the teachers. Concerning their in-class performance, the teacher found that they have no motivation in learning English. Especially they are so passive and depends much on the teacher's instruction. They also lack a self-study spirit inside the class and outside the class. The next finding is about teachers' problems in the online teaching. The very first problem that all of the teachers confided is the technical problems. For example, unstable internet connection. They have problems with the sound system or webcam device. They also take time to wait for the students to join class, or they lose connection with the students sometimes during the class. The second problem is students' involvement. The students don't pay attention to the lesson, they lack interaction with the teacher and their classmates, they lack of cooperation in class activities, they prefer typing to speaking. So this is the reality. While the teachers are talking, the students are typing to each other. The students are so passive in learning, and they keep silent when being asked any questions by the teacher. Another problem that UIT teachers encounter is class management. All of the teachers confided that they find it hard to monitor students' learning, especially outside the class, and it's hard to conduct speaking activities and group students together. They also find it difficult to kindle students' interest and control classes, as some students have no self-discipline. For example, eating, falling asleep, or turning off the mic or the camera. And teachers reported that they have problems in helping students as they work in groups. The last problem is the assessment. The teacher finds it hard to conduct a reliable test for students because they can easily cheat on it, especially as during the quizzes, the students turn off their camera and do some research in another sources. From the problems discussed so far, the teachers also indicate the challenges that they have when they conduct online lesson. First of all, they worried about how to get students involved in the lesson, especially in the communication activities in the class. How they can explore students' true abilities to do online tests or improve students' speaking skills and check students' outcome. Especially to enhance communication, they have to shorten the gap between teachers and students, so they're really concerned about how to do it. Another challenge is technology. Teachers have to choose suitable platform or interactive tools or websites for the students, not only in the class, but also outside the class. One of the biggest challenges of the teachers at UIT is how to conduct online tests. They have no good control and cannot detect sophisticated dishonesty of students, and the students can use materials or search for the answer on the internet as doing the test. Especially the internet connection is also a factor that affects the results of the test. The most important part of the finding is the teacher's roles in the online teaching. From the teacher's responses, I can see some emerging roles. First one, content facilitator, process facilitator, assessor, researcher, tutor, advisor, co-learner, and technologist. The content facilitator brings both benefit for students and the teachers themselves. First of all, for the students, a content facilitator is believed to help students understand easily and concentrate on the main point of the lesson, and they can have a deeper understanding. Content facilitator also orients students' learning goals. As playing as the content facilitator, the teachers can help students work together better, understand their common objectives, and plan how to achieve these objectives during activities in classroom. Well-organized contents combined creative activities can draw students' attention and motivate them. As for teachers, they thought that they should play the role of content facilitator because they need to be flexible, active, and effective while still creating full transmission. Another point is that content facilitator can effectively transfer content and get students involved in the lesson. They need to be a content facilitator because they have to redesign the content to make it more suitable for the students. Also provide instructions so that students know how to catch the content. Teachers as content facilitator also help students create useful content maps, relate one idea to another, and address misconceptions. The second role is process facilitator. They thought that they should be process facilitator because of the following reason. Teachers have to facilitate the online activities conducted to support students in class. They have to reinforce students' participation, as well as they have to encourage and motivate students to get them engaged in the communication activities. They try to create student-centered environment, especially they have to brief the main points students achieve in their discussion. The teachers also play as an assessor because as students work in groups or on individual basis, teachers have to provide feedback, grades, and evaluation of the learner's work. Another role is researcher. Online teaching requires teachers to look for new knowledge which is relevant to the lesson being taught. Teachers also play the role of an advisor due to the fact that they have to give advice to students on any problems they have during the course. They help students discover how they can improve their performance. As a tutor, because they give private explanation and instruction to the students or co-learner as they help students involve themselves in the learning process, and the last one, a technologist, because they help students choose appropriate tools and platforms in learning online. When teachers were asked about the most important roles of an online teacher, around 88% reported that content facilitator is the most important role. The second role is process facilitator, and the last one is assessor. According to the teachers' responses, we can see UIT teachers pay more attention to these roles because they can work well with these roles when they teach UIT students. The last part of findings comes to teachers' responses to the question how to perform well as an online teacher. From their responses, I can find some main terms. First one, being well prepared. Second one, enhancing in-class communication. Next one, providing after-class activities. Number 4, motivating students. Number 5, showing positive qualities. And the last one, being a good technologist. First of all, teachers should be well prepared. They should have well prepared activities, online tasks, quizzes by inserting some games, using visual aids in the materials, or encouraging students to work in groups. Another thing they should do is to prepare backup activities in case problems arises during the lesson. As for the activities in the online teaching, they should be diversified for individual or specific groups. Finally, teachers should summarize the content of lesson and the ways to present it logically and clearly. The second thing that teachers should do is to enhance students' in-class communication. To do it, the teacher should shorten the gap between students and teachers, make the most of opportunities to communicate with the students. Secondly, they should intentionally interact with students by constantly asking them questions to get them involved. And finally, they should create a comfortable atmosphere in the class to let students free from pressure during class time. The next thing that the teacher should do is to provide after-class activities. This is quite necessary because the teachers should take care of holistic learning. Outside the class, teachers should provide more materials or should have more things to control the student self-learning. They need to have more activities to help students review more formative assessment. The students should exchange information regularly and support students using courses, email, Facebook, and Zello. Teachers think that they should assign students with homework to make them have a sense of responsibilities for their study after class, but they notice that not too much because overloaded homework can discourage them from learning English. Motivating students is another factor that helps teachers perform well in the online teaching. To do that, teachers should stimulate students' interest in their study by giving them rewarding points for their work, and teachers believe that they should motivate and encourage students to contribute their answers to the lesson, which helps students have more interaction with the teachers as well as with their classmates. The most important thing is to give students feedback on time so that they can recognize what mistake they have made and they can improve better next time. And do not require too much from the students. The teachers should show their positive qualities if they want to perform well in the online teaching. They should be patient, creative, friendly, understanding, humorous, and be resourceful. Teachers should be a good technologist if they want to be an effective online teacher. They should use RCT in teaching, which facilitates the teaching and learning process. They should apply more interactive tools to get students involved in the lesson. And they need to learn to handle some major technical problems as they conduct their online lessons. Now I would like to come to the last part of my presentation, conclusion. Based on the findings, I would like to draw some conclusion on the research as the following. Firstly, it is stated that teacher plays an important role in improving UIT student performance and their academic output. Secondly, UIT teachers play a variety of roles in the online teaching: content facilitator, process facilitator, assessor, researcher, advisor, tutor, co-learner, and technologist. Thirdly, the most important roles for the English lecturers at UIT are content facilitator, process facilitator, and assessor, respectively. Last but not least, to better the online lesson and support student learning in the online classes, UIT teachers should get the lesson plan well prepared, enhance students' communication through relevant activities in class, provide after-class work, motivate students, show positive qualities, and be a good technologist. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions relating to my research, feel free to discuss with me. Thank you.